Well, things are heating up in the tropics, and we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Francine, which is already on the verge of becoming a hurricane. So, if we have this kind of thing going on, then I have to do updates about this. So you can see Francine, definitely some convection there going on. It's definitely strengthening. It looks like it's going some pretty significant strengthening. It's over the Gulf of Mexico. Conditions are favorable. The National Hurricane Center is issuing statements for this. We also have two other systems that we have to watch here in the Atlantic as well. But the main thing I'm going to focus on here is Francine and the latest advisory for Francine. Francine expected to become a hurricane soon. Storm surge and hurricane warnings are in effect for the Louisiana coast. This was just like a depression yesterday, but now it's really strengthening quite a bit. As of 7 p.m., its location 24.1 north, 96 west, about 145 miles south-southeast of the mouth of the Rio Grande, and about 425 miles south-southwest of Cameron, Louisiana. Maximum sustained winds are 65 miles an hour, moving north-northwest at 7 miles an hour. And it's a slow mover. Minimum central pressure 993 millibars to 9.23 inches, and we already have tropical storm warnings and hurricane warnings posted, which we'll look at when we look at the weather map here. And so let's go and look at Francine. This is going to be something we're going to be talking about a lot in the next couple of days, as things in the tropics are certainly heating up. So let's go to the map here. We'll go to the map here, and you'll see that we have that hurricane warning in effect already for much of the coast of Louisiana, into the eastern Texas, and then tropical storm watches in effect for much of the Texas coast. But we do have tropical storm warnings in effect for parts of the Mexican coast, southern Texas coast, as well as extreme eastern Texas before the hurricane warning kicks in. Tropical storm warnings in effect for eastern Louisiana, and tropical storm watches in effect for looks like New Orleans is on the border of that. So this could be, they don't have it becoming a major hurricane, but we're going to look at some of the models. I think the possibility is there because, again, the models always, they tend to underestimate how strong these storms are. So let's go and look at some other satellite imagery from find this model here, from Tropical Tidbits here. And here's Francine. So here is we'll go to the regular one here. So I'll kind of show the convection here. And you can definitely see that convection look at that. Some really good convection, especially on the northern edge there. Plenty of warm water to work with. I'm sure there's plenty of lightning strikes in that as well. So let's look at some of the other stuff with Francine. And let's look at the spaghetti models. So these are spaghetti models, and you can see there's some variation. Generally, it looks like the track is pretty straightforward at this point, and the remnants will eventually make it up. Probably not toward us. It looks like they're going to go north, more north over the Mississippi Valley. That's where the remnants would go. And if we look at our intensity guidance, the models don't want to really have it become that strong. You can see that it's going to make that landfall in around 36 hours. That's still plenty of time for it to strengthen even more. So we're going to go look at some of those models now on this. Well, before I do that, we'll just briefly touch on I'll talk about our weather at the end of this video. Let's continue to focus on Francine. So we're going to look at the models here. This is the GFS, and we're going to look at Francine here. So we have this big high over us that's going to protect us, but you can see Francine is going to be pretty much over that warm water, and it looks like it gets pretty strong before it makes that landfall. On the GFS, you can clearly see here. So let's go a little bit closer here. We'll go to the Gulf. They have one for the Gulf of Mexico. Should have one for the Gulf of Mexico. They don't have one for the Gulf of Mexico. They have Southeast U.S. I guess we'll have to use that. So you can see our storm right here. It looks like it would have a landfall around Wednesday night. Yep, looks like it's right into that western Louisiana, somewhere like Baton Rouge, I think. Could wind up getting hit pretty hard. New Orleans, too. I mean, New Orleans isn't that far away from the center of this thing. And it is on the east side of it. So there's a concern there that we're going to see flooding and issues over there as well. It's got plenty of warm water to work with. That's the thing. So we're going to look at some more of the short-range models here We've already looked at the GFS. Well, let's go to the European model. First, we'll look at the European model as well. They both seem to have it pretty strong, right around that 978. It seems like they agree on 978. The HRRR 0Z run, don't think it's going to go far enough out. Let's see. It does get us most of the way there, so it actually does. So you can see, you can see how it strengthens. Most of the rain is going to wind up being on the north side of the storm. But there's going to be some heavy rain that this is definitely going to bring. But again, I'll talk about that later as we get close to the landfall. But this storm looks pretty significant. So we're going to look at the winds on this, and then we're going to look at the winds on. So we're going to do the wind here. Yeah, HRRR doesn't have it getting that strong. I think this is underestimating it. GFS, look at the GFS. GFS does have it strengthening. It has it strengthening. I think this could become a Category 3 before it makes landfall. I'm going to make that prediction right now. I think this is going to be a Category 3 at landfall. That's what I think. I think they're underestimating the strength of that. We're going to go and look at some of the water temperatures in the area that the storm is moving over. And you'll see here are all the warnings and watches already. But let's just look at some of these sea surface temperatures where it's moving over. We can get some buoys with some SST observations here. Let's see. Sea surface temperature. This one is not reporting a sea surface temperature. I'm sure one of these has to be reporting a sea surface temperature. Don't see it here either. Well, here's one. This is a little closer to the shore here. Let's see. Sea surface temperature. Where is it? No, there's no sea surface temperature. Any of these have a sea surface temperature. None of these. I don't understand how we don't have an observation of sea surface temperatures. This boggles me. How there's no SST observations here. Oh, here we go. 86 degrees. Yeah, that's plenty warm enough. That's plenty warm. It's a little further south, actually. As I'm curious about this area right here. The sea surface temperatures. So I'd like to get some observations here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they've got any sea surface temperatures on any of these. So you'd think they would measure sea surface temperatures. But you can see the air is pretty juicy. So you can imagine the sea surface temperatures are pretty warm. I really would like to see some of these sea surface temperatures. Okay, we can use Earth. No school. We'll have to use a satellite because then they don't believe in having observations for the sea surface temperatures. So we'll have to go to the actual satellite SST temperatures. And yeah, look at this purples. Got purples over here. So it's going to move over purple water, which is sea surface temperatures well into the mid-80s, upper 80s. As you get closer to the shore, it's mid-80s, but it's well above 80 all the way to land. So 84, I see 84, 85.7. Yeah, this is plenty warm enough for, and I believe this is all, above normal water as well. So that also is going to help support Tropical Storm Francine to become a hurricane probably before tomorrow morning. I think it'll be a hurricane at this point. We'll go and let's see if they've got any lightning strikes. I'm sure that there are plenty of lightning strikes in the center, GLM flash intensity. And it's saying this image is temporarily unavailable, so I guess we don't have that. But I could tell by the convection that this is definitely a strengthening storm and definitely a threat for a lot of these areas. And we're going to look at some of the other models now as far as wind goes. I'm going to go to the Vent2Sky model. All right, so it's going to make landfall Wednesday. So we're going to take a look and see what some of these models have here. That landfall, you can see it right here. This is the Vent2Sky model. Wind gusts, let's see what we got here. So this is probably using the HRRR plus icon. Let's switch this off to the GFS. Because the GFS is definitely stronger and I think more likely. So you can see wind gusts closing in on close to 100 here. That's why I think this is going to landfall as a low-end Category 3. I honestly think it's going to make it there. It's got plenty of... you can see where it's going to make that landfall right here. Yeah, Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge is a little bit inland, but even New Orleans is going to have to worry. Because if we go and we look at the storm surge here, which actually I prefer to use the other model for that. So let's just shift over to the other model. the windy.com model, because that shows the storm surge better. I should really use that one. This is the European one. So let's go ahead and use this. Here's your storm. And we're going to make this wind gusts. Wind gusts. Yeah, when you see that white, that's a Category 3. That's close to a Category 3. And that's why I think it's going to landfall as a Category 3. We all know how these storms are, and I don't know why the Hurricane Center is being so conservative, but I think it's going to be a Category 3 at landfall. I really do. And that landfall is going to be Wednesday night. This is the European model here, and it's got all the conditions it needs to become a strong hurricane, and I think it'll make it there, and there's going to be a lot of devastation again in this area. We're going to look at the okay, let's go and look at the so we're getting a closer look. You can see that these strong winds are going to hit, and even New Orleans might need a hurricane warning. It depends on the size of the storm. Eventually, let's look at the waves, because it's going to be this is going to be a big problem. Take a look at these highs. So 30-foot waves. You're going to have a big storm surge here that's going to hit this area. This is going to be bad. As far as New Orleans goes, if it winds up curving a little more east, then things could get bad in New Orleans too. Of course, there's going to be a lot of power outages and blackouts and things like that. But this is going to be a bad storm, so I'll keep updating on it. Try to do every night. I'll try. At least we have a couple of nights, so this is going to be something we're going to have to watch closely for this area. Now I'll talk a little bit about our weather. Obviously, today was a little bit warmer. We had a little more cloud cover. So I'm going to look at the satellite. First of all, this is a satellite image from this morning. You can see that smoke that we had. A lot of it had pushed to the south. There was still a little bit, but look at how thick it was off to the south. And if we go back to the satellite image, which I'll go, and we'll go look at the CONUS satellite image now. Let's see, we'll go to 48. Yeah, look at that. Smoke shows up real nicely. So here again is, this is actually going to be a good thumbnail. Here is, what's the name? Francine. So this is Francine over here. And you can see, look at all the smoke coming from out west. That's a lot of smoke. You can see here, if we pause this, you'll see, look at that big cloud of smoke here. It's all coming from the west. So you can see all coming from some very thick smoke, too, over, it looks like Wyoming. So real thick smoke out there that we have. And then here's your thing. So we have this little bubble of clear air that I think we'll have one more day, maybe two on Wednesday, but then we're going to eventually be dealing with the smoke for sure. So that's the other big weather story that we have going on. So when we have a lot of big weather stories, I have to do weather updates, especially when it comes to the smoke, because nobody else wants to talk about it. They're all going to be preoccupied with covering Francine. So, yeah, it looks like there's a delay, but you can see there's a ton of smoke here. A ton of it here. Let's go to the Northern Rockies one. This one might actually show it better. All right, this one is not delayed, but let's look at this one. Yeah, that is a huge cloud of smoke there. Huge. Look at all these fires. This is Idaho over here. Idaho is just, this is really bad. There's just tons of fires here. We got a lot of smoke also in the Dakota. Look at that. That's a very thick smoke over there. That's a really thick cloud. That's got to be near the surface for sure. For sure. You can also do the Canada, northern U.S. one. But I think most of it is coming not from Canada. I think it's coming from the west. And you can clearly see that thick cloud of smoke over Wyoming. That's going to make its way over North Dakota and eventually possibly toward us as well. So talk about our weather today, obviously. We'll move this back to our area. And obviously we had more clouds around today. Yeah. Did I show the loop? I didn't show the loop for our area. So you could see, I don't have to show you the loop. You see that we had sun in the morning and then we had these clouds over here coming in the afternoon. So I'm not going to show you that. So let's look at, no, that's not what I want to look at. Let's look at our temperature is 66. We have more of a southwest wind. The dew points have come up a little bit. But we'll show you the lows first this morning. And we'll see what we got down to. Wow, look at that. West Hampton got down to 30 9 degrees. And a lot of 40s, too. I had the air conditioner off last night. 40s even in central Nassau. Looks like 50 for a low at Islip. So it's definitely colder than it was, colder last night than it was the night before. 39 at West Hampton. And 39 also in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River. And even colder in Tabernacle. Wow. That's really incredible. That's really incredible. Let's go to the highs. And the highs, warmer today. Mid-70s and some upper 70s. What a range, huh? 39 for a low and a high of 73 at West Hampton. So and in Jersey, probably even warmer. They probably had closer to 80. So imagine you're starting your morning off in the 30s and it gets near 80. That's desert-like. And there is a wildfire. There was a small wildfire that was reported in Beechwood, or Bayville, I should say, in an area of Pine Barrens. I think it was a very small one, though. I think they've gotten it under control, I think. Let's see that. Berkeley Township. Let's see. If I hit news, it should show up in here. Let's see. Actually, it's saying larger brush fire. No, now it's saying small. So is it large or is it small? That is the question. So we can't get the story. We cannot get the story here. Which one is correct? A large fire west of Route 9 is sending smoke toward, although no. All right, so let's see what this is about. If this is the same one here. This is, yeah, it's the same area. Fisher's Pit wildfire. So we'll have to see Fisher's Pit wildfire. There was a wildfire in this area not that long ago. Yeah. So we have a fire going in Fisher's Pit, which is it's like in this area right over. I'll show you on the map. Right over here in this area. So I'll have to see what happens with that. Hopefully they get it under control. Well, right now, not a whole lot of news about it. So let's go and look at some. There's a lot to talk about. This is going to be a busy weather week. That's why we have. Look at. We even have a couple of showers actually. I was not expecting that. Like I said, we have this little disturbance. Look at that. You even have some showers on the radar. That's something. Was not expecting that. Yeah, it does say they threw in slight chance of showers. So let's look at our statistics for the day. At Islip, our climatological report. High of 76 and a low of 50. So the high was only 1 degree below normal, but the low of 50 was 11 degrees below normal. 6 degrees below normal for the day. And we're going to have to worry about fires because, as I spoke about last night, we are not going to see much rain. We have a little bit of rain tonight. Maybe that'll get over New Jersey, I hope. High of 75, low of 55 at Central Park. And that's 7 degrees below normal for the day. So, obviously, our weather this week, we're going to have fair weather. Let's go and look at that for just a moment. Just go to the northeast, go to HRRR. I'll show you the dew points and wind flow. So, tomorrow, we're going to have more of a westerly flow to start. And then northerly becomes south. You see the dew points won't be quite as low. Actually, it seems that brings out a little bit of moisture earlier on, and then it kind of dries out a little later. But you'll see there will be a sea breeze that will wind up developing. And then for Wednesday, we have more of an easterly flow, which again should keep the temperatures lower. But inland it will wind up being warmer. Tonight won't be as cold as it was last night. Obviously, we'll probably still see 50s for lows. And then 50s, but no 40s, I don't think. And then for tomorrow, low 80s perhaps in Jersey, mid to upper 70s on Long Island, perhaps closer to 80. We'll have to see, kind of underestimated the temps today. Tomorrow night, it still is cooling off into the 50s, so still cooling off, obviously. Now I have to put my AC on because it ain't cool enough to get cool in the alley. And then for September 11th, temperatures, again, inland it'll be warmer. On Long Island, it'll be cooler. We can look at some soundings just to see what the sky situation is. I realized I forgot to show the sky forecast last night. I think I wasn't looking at the sky models. And there may be some Q development. Let's go and look at the RGM on the skies for tomorrow. It's not really showing much in the way of clouds. Showing some clouds to start the day, and then fairly clear, maybe a scattered high cloud or two, but I think there'll be, it does pop something up in the evening. What is that? Is that a shower? It looks like it pops up a shower. I don't know. It just pops up one cloud there out of nowhere. It's probably just some model error or something. And then on Wednesday, we may have some more on the way of higher clouds, a few higher clouds, but still plenty of sunshine both days. And then Thursday, it looks like, again, plenty of sunshine. But the other wild card, obviously, is the smoke. So let's look at that. And we have the 18Z, which is the long one here. It's the 21Z, right? RAP, I'll show the RAP and the HRRR first. So we'll go to the RAP first. That smoke goes way up into Canada too, but it does have us. This goes as far as Wednesday, and it does have us in the clear air. But you see that smoke slowly making its way toward the east, so that's why I think eventually we're going to get into it. And of course, there's near surface smoke too. I'll go to the HRRR for that one. HRRR is somewhat better. It's higher. This model RAP is better for fires in Canada, but I think at this point, and I do the smoke, I'll just be featuring the HRRR. So 0Z, we don't have a full run of that, it looks like, so we have to go to the 18Z. And we'll go to the vertically integrated on this, and probably it's going to show probably something similar to what the RAP showed. So we will see things get hazier later on this week, but I don't think the next couple of days should be all that bad. But you can see that big cloud of smoke there coming in. Yeah, look at that. So, but let's see. We're starting off clear, and then I think as we get toward Thursday, that's when we might wind up getting into it a little bit. So it's kind of hard to predict exactly, but you can see the middle of the country is really going to deal with it. If you're in Chicago or northern North Dakota, South Dakota, you're going to be dealing with a lot of this smoke. It's going to get quite smoky again. Very unusual to see this in September. I didn't mean to close that, actually. Yeah, no, actually, I didn't close it. Let's look at the near surface smoke. I just want to look at that one as well, because I have a feeling some of these areas are going to definitely deal with some near surface smoke too. Yeah, it's definitely getting into North Dakota, South Dakota. Looks like for the most part it's keeping it there. It's not having it get the smoke that spreads further than that. Should be at higher levels, but we'll have to see. Don't be surprised if we're smelling wildfire smoke again. And we'll have to watch again for fires closer to home as well, as we've seen. So let's look at the station plots here and just show you the other. We got air quality alerts. I'm surprised they haven't issued any for Montana. And did I say Wyoming? I meant Montana. Not Wyoming. I always get those two states mixed up. I do apologize. But yeah, Montana looks like they're, let's see what they've got. They're reporting 10-mile visibility. I'm surprised at Maelstrom Air Force Base because that cloud looks like it went right over. Yeah, it did, but then it lifted. So they did have a cloud of smoke over them for a little bit. Look at how the visibility dropped down to like 2 miles. So it looks like, yeah, it was quite smoky, but then the earlier in the morning, and then it sort of cleared out. But that cloud is moving eastward. So it's going to make it into North Dakota and Wyoming, and they're going to have to deal with this eventually as well. So they're going to have to deal with some of that smoke as well. And we still have, red flag warnings in effect, or those excessive heat warnings. We got both red flag warnings and excessive heat warnings for Southern California, where it's still just blazing hot. Air quality alert 94, 104 at Palm Springs. They hit 115 today. That's insane right there. That's absolutely insane. That's insane. Chino got up to 100, hitting 93. Trying to find San Bernardino in this mess. 95. I mean, this is insane here. Kind of heat. So we have a bunch of things going on out west here. 100 in La Habra. Fullerton, 90. I don't have the high listed there, but even at the coast, 89. 84, Torrance. I don't know why it's not showing the highs and lows on these. 88 at Long Beach. So even along the coast, it's hot. And that's with the west wind. That should be off the water. It should be cooler. Look at how hot they got. They hit 100 in Long Beach today. Not our Long Beach, but Long Beach, California. This is pretty crazy stuff. I'm going to just take this a little bit and show. Man, even Catalina, why is it so hot with a west wind? 90 degrees on Catalina, 88. Where's all this heat coming from? Surrounded by ocean. How is that heat getting over there? That's very strange because a west wind over there should be cool. It shouldn't be hot. That's really, really strange. The water temperatures there must be very, very above normal to support that kind of thing. Let's see if we can get some sea surface temperatures here. 70, yeah, that's warm. That's warm. The water's supposed to be cool off the coast of California. It's not supposed to be like that. That's just unbelievable. It really is. So LA, let's see if we can find LAX here. Find LAX. Los Angeles downtown. I'm looking for LAX. That's Long Beach. LAX is somewhere over here. That's not LAX. That's not. That's Hawthorne. They hit 91 there. Man, that's just crazy. Even right at the coast, there's almost no relief. There's a little bit of relief here. I know the sea breeze can't make it in that far because they have cliffs and stuff, but man, that's. To see these numbers, especially on Catalina, 90. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. So the Southwest is just cooking. So yeah, we have all these things, and then we got to watch this tropical system as well. So I think that's going to wrap up this weather update. A lot going on, and we're going to have to keep doing. Normally, I don't do daily weather updates anymore, but this week we're going to have to because of all the things going on regarding the smoke, the heat in California, and of course, soon to be Hurricane Florence. So have a good night.